I've seen people say things, and you wonder. I mean, people have come to me before and said this happened because of the other. By the time you investigate and you're looking at the guy like, how did you come to that conclusion? Somebody goes for an interview, he doesn't get a job, he says it is because I'm not of this tribe, and the boss. And then when you go close and find out, in the written work, you read it yourself. You want to not only fail him, you want to put him in jail for doing so badly, for speaking such a bad, for his English being so bad. It's written English. Now, so that's why I'm always very skeptical when somebody tells me that. And that's one reason why I would tell you, don't even bother. Because a lot of times, you're not even right.
Good day. This is Kingdom-WORD Radio, the online radio where you get gospel content 24 hours a day, every day of the week. And the program right now is Ask Pastor Banky. Here, we just take questions and get answers. Questions that border on Christian faith, doctrinal issues, and of course, if you've heard any of the messages that Pastor Banky has preached, or you've read any of his books, any of his materials, and there's something you need clarification on, then send your question to ask@pastor.ng. You can also do that via WhatsApp, 0807 42 If you're not resident in Nigeria, don't forget to include +234, and then answers will be given here. We'll take a quick break. We'll be back. Hello and welcome to Kingdom-WORD Radio. This is your 24 hours online Christian radio service. It's always a beautiful time here, particularly at this hour when it is Ask Pastor Banky o'clock. And here at this point in time, we ask Pastor Banky questions. Questions that range from our walk with the Lord, doctrinal issues. If you need any clarification on biblical scriptural issues or, messages that Pastor has preached, please send your question to ask@pastor.ng. You can also send your questions via WhatsApp chat to 0807 42 If you're not residing in Nigeria, please include the +234 code, and you get your responses right here on Ask Pastor Banky. Who is Pastor Banky? He's Dr. Bankole Olushino and the founder of Kingdom-WORD Ministries, which operates from Enugu, Nigeria. You're welcome, sir.
Thank you very much. Nice to be here again today.
Yes, sir. So without much ado, let's hit the questions. As a Christian, how am I supposed to respond to obvious cases of discrimination?
Okay.
Sometimes based on tribe or even religion. Are we supposed to stand up to ourselves, or should we just take it all in good faith?
Okay. I'm a Christian. How do I respond to discrimination?
Yes.
Obviously against me.
Against me.
Yes, that's it. I think that's something we should bear in mind.
Okay.
Yes. Okay. First, let's talk about standing up generally. The Bible actually discourages you standing up that much for yourself. Generally, not about discrimination. But there's something I should, include first in the answer, which is that I'm always very skeptical when somebody says I'm being discriminated against for this reason. Usually a very poor judge of that, unless the person tells you.
Okay.
If you are reading it, you are interpreting it, or you are inferring it for some things, from things you've observed. From experience, I've found that I would say 89% odd figure, right, of the times you will be wrong.
Okay.
People are hardly correct. The assessment is hardly accurate. I've seen people say things, and you wonder. I mean, people have come to me before and said this happened because of the other. By the time you investigate and you're looking at the guy like, how did you come to that conclusion? Somebody goes for an interview, he doesn't get a job, he says it is because I'm not of this tribe, and the boss. And then when you go close and find out, in the written work, you read it yourself, you want to not only fail him, you want to put him in jail for doing so badly, for speaking such a bad, for his English being so bad, it's written English. Now, so that's why I'm always very skeptical when somebody tells me that. And that's one reason why I would tell you, don't even bother. Because a lot of times, you're not even right. Just to tell some stories to make it interesting. Once I was called by a senior officer of the university to come see him. I respected him, went there. And there was a particular guy who came, of course, this is Eastern Nigeria here. He went to somewhere in the West for a posting. And then he didn't do well in his exams, and he went and told this senior man here that he was badly treated because of where he came from.
Okay. So
the man called me to see what I could do to help the guy going forward. When I got in there and they told me, to his face, I told him, I said, sir, don't mind him. This is the laziest human being I've ever worked. Yeah, I told him straight. I said, it's a matter of fact. Nobody can like him. He doesn't do his work. Let me say some other things that are kind of personal. I said, but this guy is irresponsible. He's lazy. And he's arrogant. Doesn't even know anything. Look how he's in your office wasting your time. I told the senior man like that. After a while, the man told him to get up and go outside so he and I could talk in private. I said, sir, don't mind. He can't do well anywhere with that kind of attitude. He's just hiding behind tribe, when he doesn't want to own up to the reality. Anyway, let me not go for that, about that story. So that's why, first of all, I tell people, don't just assume that you are being discriminated against. All right? Now, even if that was the case, now that's the question now. Even if that's the case, don't bother. That's what the Bible talks about, the Lord being your vindicator. He will vindicate you. He will bring forth your righteousness in due season. I always tell people that Joseph was not an Egyptian, yet he did well there. Okay? You have to, run away from this victim attitude. You go to a place, they don't like me because I'm black, and they're all white. You know the truth? If you were that good, they will forget the fact that you're black. That's the truth. Even if you're being discriminated against, it's also an avenue to showcase or to put pressure on yourself to be extra excellent. Because if you are that excellent, they will be forced
to be too obvious. You
understand? I remember Ben Carson's story. He talked about it in his book, or one of his books. I'm not very sure of which one now. Maybe The Big Picture or Gifted Hands. Being a black man, a young black man in one of America's top hospitals, and in a very rare field, neurosurgery, pediatric neurosurgery, operating on the brain of small children. He said something. Somebody asked me about racial issues. How do they treat you because you're a black person? He said, my worst experiences have been with the black patients.
Oh.
Yes. What? Why? He said, because the whites, when they come in and see, a white man comes, a white woman comes with her child, and they say, okay, you're going to see Dr. Carson. They assume Dr. Carson is a white man. All the pediatric neurosurgeons they've seen are white people. They walk in, they see one young guy, and he's black. And that's Dr. Carson. He said, there's only one thing that crosses their mind. He must be too good to be here. Because they understand everything. He said, for this guy to have this job, he must be very good. So they are so confident when they see him. He said, but the black people will look at him with suspicion that they sent us to him because we are black. Okay. He's the one that's supposed to see us now because and there's this token black man they put here. They want us to see that there are black people here. See, the complex is there. But the whites don't have it. So he usually has a fantastic time with his white patients. So, to answer it simply, I've taken quite some time on that. No, don't stand up for yourself. Let God stand up for you. That's how I'm going to summarize it.
Okay, so Pastor, now, there are cases where people have actually, like at the beginning you said, maybe you probably might be an inaccurate assessment.
And it usually is.
So in this case, let's say your boss at work and he's told you, you are a Christian. A Christian can never get into this office. He tells you that straight up.
Okay.
You have avenues, to actually air your grievances, maybe to a board.
Okay.
What do you do? Do you still say that, do you still, toe the path that you just said, I stand back, I don't do anything, but this is professional or something, your career here?
Well, one, it's very, very, very unlikely somebody will say that. Now, I'm not saying it's impossible. It's very unlikely, okay? Anybody who will say that wants to be quoted. And if I can quote you and it's necessary, you understand? I'm not reporting, I'm not standing for myself. I'm just reporting what you said.
Okay.
Do you get my point? But that kind of situation, well, I really would like to, where I'm going is that I won't want to put the general rule. General principle is what I'm talking about. That kind of situation, if issues come up, now I won't go and report that, but I won't bother. Those are the kind of times I want God to flex his muscle. Yeah, seriously. That kind of thing, I'm reporting it to God in prayer.
Okay, so what kind of prayers do you now pray?
I said, God, you hear what he said. You are God. You are in charge. Handle it. It's as simple as that.
It's not a die, let the man
No, it doesn't have to die.
die.
I mean, the Bible says that he prepares a table before me in the presence of my enemies. They have to remain and watch it. The guy has to stay there and watch me promoted above him possibly. Why should he die? If he dies, what do I gain? This die by fire prayer is fear. You feel like nothing can move forward except the guy is dead. But that's not true. Things can move forward while the guy is alive. See, when it comes to die and no die, leave God to make that choice.
All right.
Let him make that decision. See, God kills people. And if you understand that, and you are a kind Christian, you wouldn't want to pray that prayer because he can answer. And he doesn't want you to even request of it because it also counts against you as a person. He that shows mercy will obtain mercy. So if you're a habitual non-mercy shower, you get my point?
Yes.
You really go against the mercy, you're judgmental. That's what the Bible wants about against judgment, because it makes you a victim of it later when you are the one on the wrong side. Yeah. So you leave God to do it. That kind of thing, you pray for mercy for the individual. You have to pray for mercy that God, please don't treat this individual the way he deserves. Doesn't mean God won't, but you have taken yourself out of the way. Vengeance is mine. That's what God said. I will repay. That's our recompense. Don't worry about it. So that kind of thing, I won't recommend you go and be carrying it everywhere. There's no need to be afraid. One thing is sure, that guy cannot perform that threat except God gives him the power to. And you'll be amazed if you want to go to human beings to complain. By the time he's saying that and he's not drunk, he knows there's nobody to complain to. So don't give it to human beings. Give it to God. That's my own attitude about it.
Okay. All right. So, Pastor, now, just as a follow-up.
Okay.
If you have a situation where maybe there's a young lady and she's been taken advantage of because she's female as a Christian.
Okay. Being taken advantage of, I need to be more...
there's some jobs that they say, you're a woman, you can't handle this.
Okay.
So they push you away. I mean, I've actually seen it done, professional settings. Yes. So what, in that kind of case, she's a Christian, should she just go pray about it? Or is there a way she can, maybe write or do something? And Pastor, these days there's this social media thing. People use social media to get
No, I really don't
answers.
think Christians should get into that much. Let me tell you something. If that becomes a place where you focus on, then God takes his eyes away from you to say, let's see how it plays out.
Okay.
Yeah,
really?
no, that's it. God, his glory doesn't share with another. If you want to fight it on social media, God will also watch it and get his Twitter handle, get his Facebook and be reading the timeline.
Okay.
Do you understand? That's what God is going to do. He's not going to do anything. No, I won't recommend a Christian goes that way. No. If I say, okay, you're a woman, you can't handle it. I'm sorry. I don't think people should be that sensitive. I can't handle it. Thank you very much. You spare me the headache. Then when the day you need me, you'll be back. Sometimes I think people fight too much for things they shouldn't fight about. Really. If you really are worth, what you think, eventually it will show. You're fighting for things. That's why you're going through that. It's like, me too, I must get that position. If really you have value that they will need, they won't care whether you're male or female. You get my point?
Yes.
I'm a doctor. I've seen, specialists work and all of that. Nobody really cares whether you're male or female when they need your skill in something. Do you get what I'm trying to say? I've worked with people, in fact, some of my number one trainer is female. Never crossed my mind until we were talking about it like that she was female. And I bragged about her everywhere. Oh, that woman, she's just too good. In this area, she's just too good. Who cares whether she's male or female? If you can do your work, all this fighting is not necessary. Is it possible that people want to put you down? Most certainly.
Yeah.
But please relax. God will take care of it in his due time. See, I pray Christians understand the power of God. I pray Christians understand the power of God. It's what David meant when he said that God will vindicate me. We need to have faith in that. We can't be kind everything to social media. And people should be careful about social media. Once it goes out, it's out.
Yeah, you can't actually.
Yes, you can't control it once it's out. It's not everything you throw on social media. Somebody offends you already on social media. As a Christian, no, don't do that. There are people who will do it. That is their job. You don't. We should learn to pray more and relax. When God wants to lift you up, he will lift you up.
So, as in, when the person is praying, the person has to be patient.
Most certainly.
Because you don't know when that
Some
vindication
of those
will
things,
come up.
Is you that's been tried.
Okay, now that's an interesting thought. Yeah.
Come on. What happened to Joseph? We look at Joseph's story as if it's okay for Joseph, it's not okay for me. you get what I'm trying to say?
Yes.
All right? What happened to Joseph? Who was he going to report to? Who was going to believe him? Did God not vindicate him so much that if he wanted that Mrs. Potiphar, he could not collect?
That's true.
When he became who he became in Egypt, Potiphar had to bow at his feet.
Mm-hmm.
I'm sure Potiphar had to gather the whole extended family to come and say sorry when Joseph mounted his throne. Sometimes you are the one being, tested. God wants to check how you react. So it's not everything we fight for. Let me read this particular scripture to end that. Okay, that's from Lamentations chapter 3. It's one we all know. He said, the faithful love of the Lord never ends. His mercies never cease. Great is his faithfulness. His mercies begin afresh each morning. If you go to verse 25, it says, the Lord is good to those who depend on him. 26 says, it is good to wait quietly for salvation from the Lord. So it is good for people to submit at an early age to the yoke of his discipline. Let them sit alone in silence beneath the Lord's demands. Let them lie face down in the dust, for there may be hope at last. Let them turn the other cheek to those who strike them and accept the insults of their enemies. For no one is abandoned by the Lord forever. Therefore, he said, though he brings grief, he also shows compassion because of the greatness of his unfailing love. Now, you know what happened here? The people were going into captivity. And Jeremiah wanted them to know that the captivity is from the hand of God. Time will not allow me. But there's a reason why Jesus said, and you can see it here, they slap you on the right cheek, turn the left. Yeah. He wasn't supporting injustice. He was saying, allow the cup of the oppressor to fill up fast so he can come under judgment. That is a summary of what God was saying. If you are being unfairly treated, the person is building up judgment for himself, for herself. The more you fight for your fight for your own rights, the longer the fellow lasts as an oppressor. Whether Christians or we are not.
Ooh. Okay, on that note, we'll take a quick break. Don't go anywhere. You're welcome back. If you're just joining us, well, you missed part of it, but not to worry. You can catch all our previous episodes via podcast at the KW Radio. And we're on to the next question. So, Pastor, this is an interesting one.
Okay.
Is it okay for a Christian to accept traditional chieftaincy titles?
Okay.
And, particularly we've seen in Christendom in Nigeria,
a
number of pastors.
Oba Gandhi, yes. That's what most of us know.
Yes,
that's
accepted.
The Sean of Ogbomoso.
Exactly.
That's a redeemed pastor.
And, there's this talk that in accepting such, there are actually some rituals and traditional rites that have to be carried out. So how does that balance out?
Now, let's take the words one by one. We're asking, is it okay for a Christian to accept?
Yes, traditional chieftaincy titles.
Title, yeah.
Yes.
My auntie was a member of a church that gave chieftaincy titles because...
Churches give chieftaincy titles.
Yeah. Let me not mention the name of the church now so I don't make a mistake. One of these so-called Protestant churches, that Anglican-like. It's not an Anglican church, okay?
Okay.
Yeah. If you are a deacon there, you're called chief. They're not called deacon.
Oh.
Yeah, they elevate members and they give them chieftaincy titles. And the idea is they want to Africanize the culture in the church. So deacon is not an African title. Chief is an African title. So that's why they use that. And I've been at the ceremony where they make the people chiefs. So after that, you go around the society calling yourself chief like other persons in the society. Now, the reason I brought up that issue is that, you see, the word chief really doesn't mean anything more than you're an important person in that society. You are recognized as one, and you have certain responsibilities. Now, so I'm trying to say that just to say chieftaincy, it can't cover everything. Right. It just shows you are important. You are being recognized by your people, and you have certain duties you perform on their behalf. Maybe everybody's from somewhere, or maybe a particular town or village. So for that reason, sometimes it's okay, but which one and what does it entail? That's the question. I don't think we need to talk much about if it involves rituals, traditional rituals. You can't, no matter how much you love the titles, you can't go through the rituals. If it involves, sacrifice this, sleep in a shrine, take certain oaths and all of that, each thing will have to be analyzed according to what it requires. Now, most chieftaincy titles you see in today's society, they are nothing but recognition of philanthropy. You're a philanthropist, your people will say, you've done so well. They recognize what you have done. Okay, come and just give you a title. Supporter of the people. Which doesn't mean anything. But there are some that have a lot of deep spiritual connotation and involvement in certain cults. Obviously, a Christian cannot take that. Yeah. Do you understand? So it goes without saying that a Christian cannot take that. So to just say blanket, a Christian cannot take a traditional title, I will not accept. I don't think it is right. But each one has to be taken on its own merits. Yes. If this involves certain things that are wrong, or what does it imply? If the title means that you are the defender of the Ogun worshippers, hey, come on.
Okay.
Do you get my point? Like there's a title in the King Charles. As Prince of Wales, originally you're supposed to be defender of the faith. I heard that later, I don't know whether that was finally done. It was changed to be defender of faiths. Faith with an S. So everybody of faith you defend.
All inclusive.
But that is as bad as taking a traditional title in the bush somewhere in which you worship demons. Because once you're no longer defender of the faith, which was the faith of Christ Jesus, you're not defender of Buddhism, defender of Islam, defender of Hinduism, defender of Sikhism, defender of Hare Krishna, and defender of Christianity. You are just one Babalawo somewhere too. Are you getting my point?
Yeah.
So that's what I'm trying to say. So if you have a defender of the faith situation around, and then it's a nice thing. It's just a social recognition. That's the way I see it.
Okay, so Pastor, at the risk of sounding like an advocate of the people,
okay,
the Bible advocates actually that as Christians, our lives should be examples to people.
Yes.
If I think that my getting a chieftaincy title the world would see it as inferring that I actually was involved in something, why get it?
Well, I think that's you cannot use that principle to live on everything. It's your brethren you're supposed to be more concerned about. And they can be explained to. They can come for the ceremony. They can participate in it. Yeah, see, the way I'm looking at it so that people don't get me wrong. I know I know there are some titles that you shouldn't go near. But sometimes the Bible says that we are in the world, but not of the world.
Yes.
Okay, like now, you're working in university. When did they call you a professor? It's a title. Recognizing your publications, what they call intellectual output. You understand?
Yes.
You work in an office. When did they make you a director general? It's an office. These are all worldly titles. There's none of them that's spiritual. Whether you're a professor, director general, you understand, president of a country, governor, it's just what you do for the people. That's what I'm trying to say. So, okay, like there's a man I know. He's what they call an illustrious son. He's an academician, a professor of something, and he wasn't rich materially. But then the traditional ruler of his place felt that he's been of immense blessing to them. So wanted to recognize him and honor him with a title, which was something like maybe the helper of the people or a light to our young people, something like that. So he rejected because he felt he was too poor. The following year, they have these festivals in the town. So next time we are honoring our people, you must be present. So he went back home, he got ready, got things set, and all they wanted him to do, I've seen people there, okay? They just come, they just talk about him, then the man will pray for him, and they say, from henceforth, this is your title.
Okay.
The people have recognized him. If a Christian comes and tells me that that's what they offered him, I won't tell him not to take it. Do you follow my point? Because it's just the people's way of recognizing how good he has been to them. Now, if he says, should I go around using the title chief? I say, look, that depends on you. I wouldn't recommend you do that either. Do you get what I'm going to say?
Yes.
This man was working, later on became a vice chancellor of one of Nigeria's top universities. His people just felt that this is just a beautiful example for our young people to follow. And they felt that if we don't honor people like this, we will show our young people that we don't recognize such a path. And they wanted to lift him up in front of the young people in the town to encourage them. So he gathered all his friends, all his fellow book people, and they went there to go and do ceremonies. What I mean, like celebrate. And at the end of the day, this is our man, this is our man. Really, to me, I don't think that's a big deal.
Okay. Thank you, sir. So someone is asking here, should I send my children only to Christian schools?
Where will you find that anyway?
Well, I think they are everywhere.
Oh my God, the person has not been to those schools.
Is it okay to have my children attend schools where things like prayer and devotions are not emphasized?
It's like asking me, is it okay for my children to go to public schools?
Public schools pray.
If you're in Nigeria, yes.
In Nigeria, yes. In Nigeria.
If you go to some parts of this country, the public school may end up being a Muslim school.
Yeah, that's it. That's really true.
And I don't think see, training your children is first of all your responsibility at home. Yeah, that's it. They learn to pray at home. My children all went to schools where they prayed, but I can't remember ever hoping they would learn to pray there. Yes, now we're talking about it, the thought is coming through my mind. It's always been what I teach them at home. Yeah. They are big now, they are in university and stuff like that. When we're home, the family still prays. They are always there in Kingdom-WORD ministries when we're doing school of prayer. That's where they learn prayer from. The so-called Christian schools, my sister, you don't want to go to some of them. You don't want to go to some of them. No, I don't think it's necessary. You can't make that blanket through. You can't. Look, it is not that your children will learn what they're supposed to learn. A lot of us want to hand over, train our children to other people. And to look for a good boarding house to drop them while you go around free. My brother, my sister, these children are yours.
You're responsible.
They are your responsibility. You must take up the responsibility. It will cost you. Maybe you're a woman, you're supposed to become a director after a particular period. You won't make it. You will be delayed by 5 years because you had children.
Yeah, really.
People think that things don't cost. You can't always grab everything in life. There's always something to pay. There's what is called opportunity cost. There's something that you have to forgo to gain something else. So, look, they are first of all your responsibility. The idea they must go to a Christian school. If you find, fine. I mean, if you find, fine. But you may not find. You may look out, and some of the things you think are Christian schools, go inside. Because what is Christian about is not the name. It's the practices.
Yes.
Some people pray and still cheat. The prayer is invalid. Do you get my point?
Yes.
So no, I don't think you should need to make that blanket rule. All right? And please don't send your children far away from you to go to a Christian school. A lot of us just cast the children away so that we'll have free time. We say it's for their good. It's not for their good. You want to be free. You want to be able to come home late, leave early, and have somebody else say the child is boarding. No, we have to weigh this. I'm not saying going to boarding house is wrong. I went to boarding house when I was young. But I'm just trying to say that you have to be careful what you are doing. That you are refusing to accept your responsibility. You want to contract out raising children. It's not that easy. Pay money, somebody else will train the child for you in righteousness. How's that going to be done? No.
Okay, but Pastor, really, there are many cases where the children turn out okay. So does that not not part of advocating?
What do you mean the children turn out okay?
Your children go to the schools that maybe the Christian boarding schools, and the children come out, they're good Christians, and they have all those. So it's
the result doesn't justify the means. So we're not going to sit on that. Otherwise, I've seen people raised on the street and they turned out okay. There are children that don't have parents, they turned out okay. There are children that joined gangs early in life, they turned out okay. They repented and they went to church and they got cleaned up. So we can't use the result to justify the means. We're talking about, this is my responsibility. And then you have to understand God is very good. Okay?
Yes.
A lot of people, that boarding house, that school, is their only exposure to Christianity. They came from a home, father doesn't pray, mother doesn't pray. Whoever is writing in to ask me this question, I assume you're a good Christian. You pray. Your husband or your wife, your spouse, two of you, you pray at home. So you are coming from a position of advantage. You should not, you go down.
Yeah. Okay,
do you get my point?
Okay.
Yeah. When I was growing up, as an example, it was in boarding house I used to go for early morning, Bible studies, prayer meeting and stuff. At home, I didn't do that. We just went to church on Sundays. That's what we did at home. So God said, okay, so if you want to look at the spiritual aspect, yes, I probably benefited more. But now in my house, my children pray and study scriptures every morning.
Advantage.
Every morning. I don't believe you know as much Bible as I do for my kids. Right now, we're reading the book of Genesis. This morning, we read maybe, I think, chapter 17. Start from chapter 1. Let me not give you the books we read over the last few weeks. So, somebody turned out okay is not the issue. It's what am I supposed to do? What I'm just saying is that, look, you have to understand, God is very merciful. He looks at the heart. If you tell God, this child is less important than my career, it's different from somebody, for example, now, I know people, the children have to go to boarding house because the traffic of getting to school every day. You're in a city like Lagos, when the child would now join this traffic problem for 4 hours every day, it's not easy. So sometimes you go to school on Monday and come back on Friday, So you balance out what you are trying to do. But not that, no, I don't have time for the children, so go to boarding house because I don't have time.
Yeah,
right? There are things you are saying to God. And that's one thing very important. Anytime you make a decision in life, including voting for a candidate in election, there are statements you are making to God. And me and you might vote for two different candidates and make the same statement. We may vote for the same candidate and make two opposing statements. You might be voting for one candidate because he's my brother, he's from my place. And me, I'm voting for the same candidate because I say, this guy is honest and is very intelligent. He will move this association or this nation forward. God counts your vote as negative, the nepotic vote. And says this one is voting against somebody from his own place because to him, righteousness is more important than human relationship.
Yeah.
And in heaven, he weighs differently. So I think God puts together before he chooses leaders for us. In the same manner, when you are making such decisions about your children, you have to be careful. These are the things that God weighs. Before you decide whether that guy will smoke or he won't smoke. Yeah, it's God's decision. Whether your child will be on drug or won't be on drug is the Lord's decision ultimately. I don't mean that he decides just like randomly. What I mean is that he's the judge. It's the way you handle that child that even if he's in the valley of the shadow of death, you can't put a whiff of Indian hemp in his mouth. Another person will be in the same circumstances. And demons will give that one cocaine, give that one heroin, give that one crack. Because the parents said to God, we don't care about his destiny. Our prosperity is more important than his being raised in godliness.
Oosh.
Very important.
In fact, this is really deep because I don't think many parents think as to this, how far you've just explained it when they make these decisions. Thank you, sir. We've come to the end of today's program. Remember that you can send your questions to ask@pastor.ng. You can send via WhatsApp to 0807 42 11111. Include +234 if you're not resident in Nigeria. God bless you. My name is Hope.
Thank you.